Li to present his talk.
Thank you very much. So it's a great honor for me to be here. And in order to make a presentation in the Apps Hall, I had to cross the oval and from faculty to apps. And also, this talk is about the cultural, cross-cultural communication. And first of all, it's kind of a cross field, because I'm a teacher of Chinese, but now, by crossing the oval, immediately I become a student of English. So I'm a lifelong learner of English, and you as my teachers. So I'd like to show my respect for you, especially my special thanks to Bob, and who worked together for the Wuhan summer program for 10 years as volunteers. So then we try to use the approach, performance culture-based approach to teach English at Wuhan University. And by teaching English, when you think about it, usually the traditional way is to teach people how to translate from one language to another. However, in the new way, in this way, we think about slightly different. We think that most is teaching another foreign language is teaching a different culture in nature. So that way we talk about the culture and the performance. So today I will focus on the two basic concepts. Number one, so this one is not my creation or something. Is my boss, Professor Walker, Galal Walkner, and who published a book. And please, we have that book in our bookstore. So that's one, and you can see here, the performing another culture. So by performing the culture, we mean, our belief is language and communication are inseparable. And then culture play a very important role in our, foreign language teaching. So what is culture? So let's go to see. I believe everybody read this kind of, PPT, right? Before coming here. How many people did that? Wow, that's great. So maybe I just skip it, okay? So let's go very fast. So you can see this, the differences. Traditionally, people regard teaching foreign language is linguistic codes, pass the information to the students. Then culture, we just teach them what Christmas is, what's Shakespeare, and what is American, Constitution, and so on. So people just give some kind of courses in the culture, or give them instruction, introduction to American literature, something. That is means culture. But in the new way, we think we're teaching culture. Linguistic code is part of the culture. So we teach people how to communicate, how to do things in that target culture. So that's a very different kind of concept towards what's the nature of a language, what's the nature of our behavior, what's the nature of our teaching. So things upside down. So I think that is kind of not so difficult to understand, but it's very fundamental change. Go ahead. So what is culture? So culture is a pattern of human activity. That's culture. And especially is we think culture from three different discourses. Okay, cultures. So one is achievement culture. So that means Shakespeare, the poetry, or Christmas, Thanksgiving, this kind of achievement. We feel proud of it. We like to share with our students. So like a drama. And the second one, informational culture, is about how large how great American people, and so on. or with the statistics information. And the third one, ignored by language teachers today, is behavioral culture. So that is the most important culture we did every day. We are practicing every day. Just like air, there we didn't notice that existence, but it is very crucial for our lives. So that is the part we like to emphasize in today's talk and also in our teaching. Okay. And then what is the different culture? We just make a game metaphor. In the American culture, like play football. The Chinese play ping pong. When they got the ball, what do you do? So you hold the ping pong ball, run, and bump each other. Or you with the football, you use the pad, play the football. That's no way. But in a lot of foreign language teachers' mind, may be very similar. They didn't see the differences in culture. Like, when in America, people offer me, when I just came to the United States, people offer me drink. I immediately say, no. Because in my culture, I should say no. But that no is not equal to English no. But I just translated into no. And the people ignored me. I was thirsty, I was hungry. Nobody cared about me. I said, gee, what kind of host you are? Terrible. You just look down upon me. I feel very frustrated. But I don't know, that's my problem. Because I didn't say or behave as American does. See, but nobody teach me, nobody taught me. So I made a mistake every day like that way. So because I just translated linguistically from my home mother culture to, target culture, without ignoring the cultural differences. Every day we are doing is cultural exchange. That is our glorious task, but also most difficult task for a foreign language teacher, for a TESOL teacher. But we need to pay special attention to the cultural differences. So that is, and then how to play the game. So actually learning a foreign language is not merely to learn how to do it, how to translate, but learn how to do it. So what is the performance? I just say culture. Okay? Culture means, people's behavior, means a framework we live in. We are formed by that culture without notice, consciously or unconsciously. So now we talk about the performance. The easy misunderstanding performance. Oh yeah, I taught my students how to sing a song, how to perform a drama, Shakespeare, on the stage. Yes, it is performance. But from a new concept, we think performance is everyday life. Like I'm here, it's a performance. So I go back to talk with my wife, it's a performance. I told my son, get up tomorrow morning earlier, it is a performance. Culture is a performance. So if we think that way, so we are teaching people how to perform. It's not just the perform on the stage, it's a perform in the daily life. So that is the way we need to understand the performance in the new way, give a new definition. Okay, so by new definition, we identify 5 key elements in the performance. One is specific time, place. We need the location. Just like a realtor said, location, location, location. We're not in for making money, but that's important anyhow. And say, second, specific time. We cannot exist without any time. We need to be time limited. This is today, tomorrow, yesterday, or any certain time. We need to identify that. And the third one is script. So human behavior different from other like animal because we have script. We have something written or unwritten, but anyhow it's something we formed. We have a format there. So including the written language is a script. We can read it, record it, or we when they talk, I have something written here, just like a deconstruction said. What is the earliest way? Is a spoken language first or written language first? People usually think, is written language is an imitation of spoken language. But according to deconstruction, spoken language is imitation of the mentality, working already written in your mind. See, so that way we need a script. Anyhow, you will have this script. And the fourth one is roles. Whether you're talking with the professor or talking with your son, what kind of a person I am, then I talk differently. Like if I talk in Chinese, I want to move my hands movement, the will be much, much less. See? So different roles require different behavior. So next one is audience. So because we're in a communication. In communication, we definitely have audience. So whose audience are will define what you're doing. So the 5 elements is the basic elements of the performance. Then if we look at this way to review our teaching, how do we did? What we're doing. Okay. So now make a comparison. So far is a grammar-oriented teaching. They are kind of top-down, because they believe, the structuralism believe that if we understand the structure of that language and I learn the vocabulary, then I can easily assembling a car and drive. So that is a kind of basic concept. But from performance culture, performance culture point of view, we should learn a foreign language from a different perspective. We should bottom up. So we learn how to say hi. To say hi to a foreigner is very different culturally. Like in China, you want to say hi to a stranger. If you say hi to a stranger on the street, Bob had the experience. People say, "What are you going to do? You want to rob me? You're a stranger." They don't say. Usually, they just say hi to the person he knows. Okay? So if you like to teach American teachers how to say hi in Chinese, you need to tell the students the cultural differences. Otherwise, they will say "ni hao" in perfect, pronunciation, but also is totally wrong in a way. So people won't accept it. Just like the same way from Chinese to the United States. Since we already understand that to say hi only to the people you know, then to the strangers, to my neighbor who I not know, I never say hi. And then the American think Chinese people are very cold, not friendly. But they are not true. I'm a very friendly person, but my culture told me don't say hi to strangers. See? So when you teach your Chinese students how to communicate greeting people, don't just teach them say hi, but also teach them the cultural differences and ask them to behave differently. So, but from the grammar, top down, this kind of, they just teach you what's about a language, the knowledge of a language. They didn't stop at teaching you how to use it. I never say teaching grammar is wrong. No. It's perfect. It's very good. But we just like Oliver said, we want more. We're hungry as a student. We want more. I don't say they're wrong, but we want more. What's more is performance. Go ahead. Then what's the goal for a language teacher? So I'd like you answer my question, please. Who will be the answer my question? What's my goal as a teacher of teaching English as second language? What's the goal? Anybody?
For your students to be able to communicate in language.
Okay, good. communicate in language, that's perfect. But, if just to communicate, that is only the verbal side, and the other way be more broader and more pragmatic. Of course, it's correct. Communicate. Teach people how to communicate. That's perfect.
I think the student have to do something with that language.
Yes. Good. Something, that is to do things. To do things. For example, if I'm good in English, good enough, then I will talk with people, and do things with hockey, and also baseball. I not only just how to say it, how to communicate, I like to how to do it. Then the more things you can do, you know how to do it, the better of your knowledge of that target culture, and also your language proficiency. Proficiency. I'm sorry. Proficiency. Then that's good. Anyhow, that's a huge topic. I don't want to, occupy too much valuable time. Go ahead. Then we want to change. And Obama said, yes, we can. So we want change. In which way we want change? How do we change? So I just suggest you 5 different areas. Because the change of this concept, what is language? What is the performance? What is culture? We change that, and then we have a new perspective to see this world, to see our teaching from a different point of view. Then I suggest that there's 5 fields we need change. What are they? Number 1 is from a teacher-centered to student-centered. So number 2 is lecture-based and to performance-based. The third is grammar-focused to culture-focused. And the fourth one is printed, not print. Printed textbook or dominated to multimedia dominated. And the last one, from examination-oriented to action. So, and one by one, I just give you a very, very brief, discussion. So, role of teachers. What is role of teachers? First of all, definitely is a lecturer. Well, even our title means senior lecturer, lecturer. Is lecture, is oriented, but the second one is acted. We need to behave. We on the stage, that's acted. Then it's good for that. And the third one is a proper manager. We need to prepare a lot of propers for our students. But the most important, which one, is last one. A teacher actually is a director, is a coach. It's not just teach people about language, it's teach people how to use that language. So to evaluate the teacher's performance, it's not just the teacher is good actor. Teachers, his pronunciation is wonderful. His, performance himself is beautiful. Yes, it is. But the most important is how his students perform. How his students use the language to do things in the target culture. I think that is the evaluation. Our have a criteria of evaluation. Should add that to our role. Okay, go ahead. And then we look at the student. What does student do? Usually, in my observation, especially in Wuhan, students come here, take a paper, take other notes. So they are passive note takers. Then they come here, try to get instructions from the teacher in the classroom. And the second one, they are judges. We have evaluation to every teacher. They say, that teacher is handsome. That teacher, not so nice. That teacher, they be judges. But what we want them to do, to be judges only, or to be audience only, what do we want to do? The third, right? Please say it. Please, let me hear it. Yes, players, right. Well, not just ask them to sit there, to got the knowledge, know about English, we like them to do it in English. So I'm not to advocate, to do advertisement for Nike, but I like that we just do it. Okay. And then that is a picture. Okay, I selected. See, Chinese is play ping pong. We need to notice the cross-cultural communication here. If the coach, put in that position, what happened? If that coach, put here, what's wrong with the coach? You are the coach. You are very important role to teach people how to do things appropriately in that target culture. So be aware of the cultural differences. Not only just say, I want to say, you do it, just do it for me. I'm a teacher. I can guide you. But you need to notice what's the original culture, what their behavior, what's their concept. Then you have to be very to the point to teach the student how to do it. So if you are a student of Chinese, you should understand, just as I said, that's the issues. I don't say hi to strangers. So I don't immediately accept your offer. Usually I will say no, and you offer again, and I say no, and the third time I say yes. See, so that no is not translated. That is a big misunderstanding. American people was Chinese is a liar. They never say yes as a yes, no and no. So that's not true. We're honest people, but cultural differences. See, and go ahead. So lecture-based to performance-based. So we need people in the classroom, not just to deliver lecture. We need people to do it. So we need to change the classroom into a performance stage, rehearsal for the future, remembering the future. What we do today is for them to do it in the future. So that is, we cannot just ask them to return our written papers, say it's off, that's wrong, multiple choice, yes, that is. We need it, but more than that, we need the behavior, we need the performance. Go ahead. So second one is a curriculum design. Bob, when he talked with some people, say, don't use that textbook. Say, how could we do that without textbook? Because the textbook following the grammar-oriented, this kind of structure, they're not useful for the performance-based instructions. So we need to make changes in the curriculum design, and we need to think about for the cultural-based or culture-focused, teaching materials, or even better, we call it learning materials, because we're student-focused. We're not for teachers only, we're for the students. So, and also we emphasize autonomous. Every book we develop so far is, this book is Professor Walker developed. So that is the student-oriented work. See, all this like performance textbook, the performance, so students use it. Okay, so we put a lot of time and efforts, prepare a lot of information in the past didn't appear in the textbook. But that is, we said, is culture focused. We emphasize the importance of saga. Saga is a cultural text, in the cultural context, is something behavior or something repeated could be done. So we use that way. And the fourth one, that's the book. Going from the printed textbook to multimedia textbook. Okay, not textbook, learning materials. Because what's wrong with language? Language is something wrong with language. Language always causes the misunderstanding. So deconstruction said every reading is misreading. Of course, it's very extreme, a kind of a statement, but some truth there. Language could cause problem in the communication. Language build a bridge, yes, but also make an obstacle for people to understand it. English pound, the word is different from Chinese 食堂 pound, because the pound I live in is very different from American pound. But we use the same pound. Then that's misleading, mispresentation. Then what we do is images. So Chinese, very early stage, we realize that language cannot express what you want to say, but images can. So then we emphasize the importance of the multimedia. So today, very fortunately, we have a modern technology that make us it happen. Could do it. We can do it. So like in this book, the printed version is not as important as this one, the DVD. So people listen to it to view the image of what is Chinese life look like. Then they have such kind of experience in life. What the teacher do today is to offer students experiences, not only knowledge. Okay. Yes, that's what we did. Every teaching courses so far were always with the TV, with audio programs. We offered all this to our students. Okay. So last one is not least important one is assessment. Assessment actually is offer a criteria or guidance to our teaching. So how to do it? So far we have midterm finals. So all just paper work. Of course, that's important. However, most important, we should be judge student performance. Okay? How to judge student performance? We need to change the way of our examination. We have to design the way. Just the teacher told me he is going to design a performance at the beginning. Student had the interview, and in the middle, midterm have another interview, and the end have a third interview, and then they make a comparison to see the progresses. I think that's wonderful, just experimental, experiment, and also that is kind of way. Not only for oral exams, we need to do written exams. Also, we can do that. Ask people, give them a task, not only just answer yes or no questions. Not just to test their knowledge, but also test their function in that language. Okay, good. So we are remembering the future. So and again, go back to the two basic concepts. Culture to be the basic knowledge, and performance to be the basic demonstration of that knowledge. So still the two basic concepts, we need to combine into one. Okay. So, and then make sure what I'm talking about is not a theory. Theory means theoretically, that is not pragmatical. It's not to the ground. I want us do it, not just think about it. So we don't call it theory, we call it approach. Approach means road, means a way, means a bridge. From ideal to practice. It's a more pragmatic way to think about it. Of course, the approach is not from nothing. It's based on a lot of theories, a lot of approaches. However, it is, we put together and we have this in Chinese, performance. Okay, I don't know. Golden Gate is retired, but he says something very strange and very interesting. Okay.
Personal favorites, up and coming academic department team.
Oh, wow. To
Where do you see them going?
make me choose among my children.
He didn't
Oh,
give
my
us any
heavens.
award, okay? No money, but just the word express his appreciation
A lot of
of Chinese
certain
teaching.
hospitals in the
To be
institution. You
louder?
know, we don't build a great university on the backs of an athletic program. No one has, no one will, and no one ever should even think about that. What we do is we build a great program on the basis of having world-class faculty, world-class students. I think the thing that I'm most proud of in general is the fact that when we moved to selective admissions when I was first here in 1990, then the wave, the bow wave of that.
The audience asked,
asked,
which one is the best program?
We have
What is his
high
answer?
quality students in history.
You can guess. What's the answer?
The country and our graduate professionals.
Well, possible answer.
We're just hot as hell, and I think that kind of is an overall profile that Ohio students now come to Ohio. They don't leave Ohio. They come to Ohio State in order to get that kind of an experience from all over the world. Secondly, in terms of some of our programs, if you want me to think about a program that I would just right off the top of my head, you know,
Can you hear that?
our programs in Chinese languages and literatures is one of the best in the world.
I'm so happy about that.
How much you pay him to say that?
Yeah, that's why I didn't, I just wonder, why didn't he pay us? When you say that, he should give us a big award. So, okay, so next one. So you can see our graduate students, they write the thesis, MA thesis in Chinese and defend in Chinese after 5 or 6 years of study. Just click it.
I clicked it. We'll see if it works.
Okay. Very short, okay. I know you don't understand Chinese, doesn't matter, but you can see the performance.
I can't make it do anything.
Because you are using your copy or using this one.
It's that one.
Copy. Okay, go ahead. Next one. Yeah. Click it. Click it. Yes, to see it. Okay. Anyhow, this is the first class, first place in the international context. So Ohio State win the 3 years first place. Only thing happened in the world is Ohio State, OHIO. Never in the future, no in the past, never in the past. The only one. So that's why maybe Golden Gee said the best. So. Okay.
I can't make any of the videos.
That's fine. That's fine. So we have, Okay. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Questions? By the way, we have Dr. Walker's student, Wang Jianfen, today is here. They're coming here. So his understanding of the performance culture even better than me. So please come here and answer all the questions. Please.
I didn't prepare for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, please.
Thank you.
So we have the only PhD program who can offer PhD program degree in the United States is our program, and Dr. Walker is the only one to advise the students. Okay. Questions, please. Yes.
I've noticed that when Chinese teachers teach in American schools, they teach like American teachers. But when Chinese teachers teach in Chinese schools, they teach like Chinese teachers. And the students very difficult because the students are Americans who happen to be sent there by their Chinese parents, and they're always very bored.
I know.
And so what do you tell Chinese teachers about adapting their style so they teach in American to American students?
That's why last Sunday I went to the Chinese school, talked with the principal. And then we're going to have a collaborated project, joint project, try to help them to adapt the American way of teaching Chinese there.
What would you do to adapt?
Just change the curriculum, change the learning materials, and give the teachers training, and then teach them, and also teach Chinese parents how to encourage the students, to learn Chinese. Several places, several ways to do it. It's kind of very complex project. You cannot just do it overnight, or it's easy to do it.
Which Chinese school did you go to?
Just your wife is working. So the wife is a very long-term volunteer there and worked with me for years. I'm also a volunteer for local Chinese school, and even including Asian Festival. Very good, thank you. Any other questions?
I have
Yes.
a question
Thank you.
just related to culture.
Good.
So in terms of English language teaching, there's constant talk about who owns English and that there's not one English, there are all kinds of Englishes and there are all kinds of cultures. So how does culture fit into a concept that is being sort of stretched in an international way that everybody owns? I mean, we can't really expect people to conform to, American or British culture in all of these various contexts. So what would you respond to that?
Good.